Channel 4 News with Primetime Emmy Award winners Kayla and Sharon at 7 o'clock.
Good evening. Tonight's main topics are Marilyn Monroe's new movie and Fidel Castro's interview on the Cuban Revolution.
Now we are going to pass it on to Brittany, who is live with Fidel Castro.
Thank you, Kayla. Now I'm sitting here with Fidel Castro, the one and only. How are you today?
I am doing well. How are you?
Great, thank you. Now, before we start with this interview, I hear you had a very interesting childhood and that your father had an affair with the maid and you're the maid's son, and he sent you off to a prestigious boarding school. And how are your feelings towards him now?
I'm happy that my father recognized me at the age of 17, so I decided to change my name from Fidel Ruz to Fidel Castro, to take his last name.
Yeah, well, I'm glad everything's going well at home. All right, so my first question for you is, what people have influenced your point of views in politics?
By far, Eduardo Chibas and Ernesto Che Guevara influenced my view on politics. Eduardo made me want an anti-communist political party and reform the corrupt government in Cuba. Ernesto made me believe that reform could only be rectified through violent revolution.
Interesting. All right, I got another question for you. So after you went to law school and you became a lawyer, and for many years you were a pro bono lawyer in Havana, how has this influenced your point of views on the government?
Since many of my cases consisted of people who couldn't afford to pay for a lawyer, I really saw the uneven distribution of wealth in Cuba. I saw many people who were poor and didn't have money to fight for their cases properly. Being a pro bono lawyer caused me to be short in money at times, which made me resent the uneven distribution and the American businessmen who ran the country.
Wow. Okay. So why do you feel it's necessary to have a revolution in Cuba?
I believe the revolution was necessary because I believe in nationalism, economic independence, and social reform. I saw the inequalities in Cuba. Many people were starving and could not afford housing and food. I saw that American businessmen used our country for the benefit of them, and we had no say in it.
Oh, that is very sad. All right. So, do your feelings towards Batista, the guy who took over the government, did he contribute to your desire for a revolution?
Yes. I was a candidate for Congress for the Cuban People's Party. It was speculated that I would win the election and have the opportunity to make a change in Cuba for the better. Unfortunately, during the campaign, General Fulgencio Batista took over the country with the support of armed forces. This made me truly believe that the only way a difference would be made in Cuba was through a revolution.
Oh, okay. So you first tried to start the revolution by attacking Moncada barracks. What were your intentions for that?
Well, since many of the officers were going to be away at the Festival of James, my militants planned to dress in army uniforms and arrive at the base. They would raid the armory and escape before the reinforcements arrived. With the weaponry, we were going to arm supporters and spark a revolution among Orient's impoverished cane cutters. We would then control the Santiago radio station and broadcast our manifesto to promote uprisings. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out that well.
Yeah. They arrested you and you're in prison for a long time. How did prison affect you? What did you do while you were in there?
When they imprisoned me, I became famous throughout Cuba. I also spent my few years fostering my resentment towards the government. I came up with a new strategy to overthrow the Batista regime based on guerrilla warfare.
Oh, okay. So, there's speculation that now your policies in Cuba are Soviet style. So are you communist?
No. My laws are to reform Cuba and rid the island of U.S. economic dominance.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, thank you for letting us interview you. I hope you enjoy the rest of the time while you're here. And I'm going to hand it back off to Kayla.
Stay tuned for the inside scoop on Marilyn Monroe's new movie with Joshua.
Thank you everyone for watching the interview.
Gracias y buenas noches.